Well, shit. Okay, we're starting. Alrighty. I already cursed in the first 30 seconds, but I don't really care. This was the last episode of the season. Huzzah, we got through 10 episodes, or I got through 10 episodes of this show. I'm not saying that in a bad way, just, 10 episodes. I'm still shocked I got here. I'm sure you guys are curious. What do I think? I felt like this was like something, like a kind of I don't know if you would count this as like a season 1, like a way to end the first season of a show. Maybe I feel differently, but let me start from the beginning. Let me slow the fuck down. I'm going a little fast. Alrighty. As I called, this was that dinner episode. Kind of. Not really. Anyway, so we pick up from the last episode. Now Jimmy and Lois both know about evil Superman. They go, we don't want Clark to find out about this. Spoiler alert, he finds out about it towards the very end of the fucking episode. So that kind of proved pointless. And I kind of thought it was pointless. Like, they whispered about it and we're like, well, shh, let's not tell Clark about it. I'm like, he has super hearing, you dumbasses. He could hear this. But he didn't because, convenience, I guess. But also, they're made reporters, so now they're no longer interns. That's good. As I said, this was a dinner episode where, one that I kind of predicted would have happened, or at the very least something like this would have occurred. It's Thanksgiving. Clark offers Lois, for her and her father to come over for Thanksgiving along with Jimmy. And, well, it goes about as stiffly and about as awkwardly as you can imagine. I'm at least glad Lane wasn't... At the very least, the general was looking at Clark the whole time going, you look familiar. Who the hell do you remind me of? So I'm glad he wasn't like he was oblivious the whole time. Like he kind of was like, there's something off about you, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. And this plays into the whole, like, Clark kind of puts effort into, like, separating Superman and Clark Kent so people don't, despite them looking similar and maybe having the same build, Clark's demeanor and all this other kind of stuff helps really to kind of sell the whole of, this guy can't be Superman. And here's the other thing. The dinner goes awkwardly, right? Or rather, yeah, it goes awkwardly. Jimmy then arrives, and he kind of does the thing that I'm glad he did. And, look, the show has some problems. This is not one of them. Jimmy... I don't mind Jimmy in this show. This last episode kind of helps solidify where I'm like, I'm okay with this. In terms of the way he is as a character, anyway. So he basically pulls Lois and Clark outside the farmhouse, and he basically points to them and goes, both of you are going to talk. Because Clark had told Jimmy, oh, Lois's dad is the general who's been trying to kill me. And so Jimmy tells Clark, look, you're going to tell each other what the hell is going on, right? Because I ain't trying to get involved in your drama and shit. Clear this shit up right now. So I'm glad to see that. And well, then he gets interrupted because, let's just say, a little orb that I don't know why Jimmy had this thing with him. Why did he have it with him? Like, this was so unnecessary to take with you. Again, it's for the convenience of the plot and progressing and triggering the event that, unfolds in the latter half of this episode, right? The kryptonite comes out because there's kryptonite inside of the orb. Clark finds out about the whole evil Superman thing. He's now, like, oh my god, is this what I'm gonna turn into kind of thing? Then the kryptonite pops out because he drops it or something. And, well, the kryptonite has like an immediate effect on him and is basically killing him on the spot. I'm like, god damn. And well, this also does something awkward. This triggers the giant alien ship buried underneath the field. And well, it leads to a very ugly confrontation between Superman and what he believes is to be his people's ship. Fight happens. Clark does this whole kind of the sacrificing kind of moment. Like, we all kind of thought, wait a minute, are we going to do like Death of Superman kind of thing? I was like, there's no fucking way. Thankfully, they didn't do that. He manages to push a ship up that opened up a giant portal that we saw in the previous episode. And then came out this shit, then this warship was trying to come out. Clark manages to stop it in time and portal closes. The ship gets cut in half. And then Lois obviously has a kind of a standoff with her father because her father is about to kill Clark. And she goes, no, don't kill him because, again, he's the guy who just saved all of us. Do this for me. And, well, he doesn't kill Clark. Big shocker. But he disappears into the wind. And that's about it in terms of important things. Or rather, not even important. That's just the general synopsis of the episode. My thing is, this feels like something really that wasn't truly set up all that much. For me, you might say, well, it was sprinkled in the background, right? The whole ship thing and him being unaware, and then he gets this kind of first exposure, and it's setting up oh, he's going to have this misconception about his people because the ending pretty much confirmed it wasn't his people who was trying to invade Earth. That was not his people in the slightest bit. It just made to look like him, or it made to look like a Kryptonian when it's not a Kryptonian. I very much don't think it is. Now, I don't know who the villain could be because this villain that was revealed at the end looks. I thought it was Brainiac because during the episode, like when the kryptonite was first detected, like there was like the classic symbol of Brainiac appeared, and we went, oh, Brainiac. Then towards the end we get a glimpse of I'm assuming is going to be the major villains for moving forward, if the show gets moved, actually does continue. I thought Brainiac's gonna be the big boss. Then they have another character, or rather, I am assuming somebody in a suit, and I don't know who it is. I want to say Zod, but I'm like, would it be Zod? I don't know. Like that's if we have to be honest about it being like a Kryptonian, I'm like Zod is my best guess. Obviously, I don't think they're doing Darkseid. That guy's like to me, Darkseid's like a season 5 villain, like to be introduced, or season 4. Like he's like I don't think this young Clark can even take on Darkseid in a fight. He'd probably get his ass handed to him badly. But again, so I think that's my issue with a little bit with what this feels so kind of a little undeserved and almost too much for a season 1 ending. Like I kind of would have preferred something more quiet. I didn't need this giant spectacle, right? It looked cool, but I'm like I kind of would have preferred this kind of thing with like Clark and Lois's father and Lois and just having that. Now, that's just me. I'm not saying the way they ended it was terrible or anything. In terms of like the way they ended the season, I kind of went, okay, they set up season 2 villains, or the main villain moving forward, which is I'm assuming Brainiac and some Kryptonian. Zod is my best guess. I could be completely wrong. I've been glad that people in my comment sections have been like correcting me and like offering up information that I may not be entirely aware of, and I'm glad you guys are doing so. So in this case, if I'm wrong or if I'm maybe missing something, please let me know. As I said, this is not the way I would have ended the season, but this is what we got. And for what we got, I thought it was okay. A little over the top for my taste. But hey, I'm not the showrunner or the writer. So I can have my criticisms of it, but at the end of the day, this is what they chose to go with. And is there anything else I want to talk about? I know this was a little all over the place. I get it. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out because a lot happened, but not a lot in a sense, because this is my one frustration, I think, with the show. Somebody, in my last review, I talked about the whole Clark not knowing anything about his heritage. Somebody, I remember a comment asked, it's an alien language, how would he know about it? I'm like, so you're telling me that an advanced civilization like the Kryptonians, who have all this cool fucking tech that's like light years beyond Earth, right? They can make portals that literally bridge, time, cut through time and space, right? And travel dozens, if not hundreds, maybe thousands of light years in like the snap of a finger. You're telling me they can't make an AI or something to help Kryptonians learn their language? You don't think there's something like that on that ship? Because that was the one thing that kind of bugged me, was that they had the father talk in Kryptonian the entire time, and yet he could clearly speak English. Because he said, my son. Very clearly in English said, my son. So I'm like, so he can speak their language. Why the hell hasn't he tried to communicate in English? He's an AI, or at the very least, probably like something similar to like, what Man of Steel did with Russell Crowe's character. Or the AI from the Death of Superman. So I'm like, why couldn't they just do that? Why? I know it's supposed to be for the mystery and the tension, but I feel like this was so unnecessarily dragged out and kind of like a waste of time. It could have been really interesting for Clark to learn about Krypton. And again, as I said this in the previous episode, in the previous review, he could have had this really interesting kind of almost, proud feeling of knowing, oh, this is where I came from. Also, this episode proved another thing. Krypton was not destroyed. It's currently being, I actually could be wrong. Krypton could actually be destroyed, and this could be a completely different world. Right, because they were laying the Brainiac, I'm assuming that's Brainiac, right? I could be wrong, but I will go with that. Brainiac and the mysterious Kryptonian are currently laying siege to an entire planet, like right at the end of the episode. And even the Brainiac goes, we have a new world to conquer. And I look forward to seeing where this goes, because I'm enjoying this. Hope you guys are too. And hopefully, I'll see you guys next time.